The circle is playing a very big role in reimagining education, reimagining classrooms, reimagining the whole system to just ensure, I believe, one, to make an equitable education possible. That's one thing. And the other thing is also to sort of prepare children, teachers for the future of India, right? Can you talk to us a bit about what the circle is doing and what kind of challenges you face and how you're adding value to the education system? I'd love to know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Um, so we're built off of a few foundational beliefs, right? And one of those is what I just mentioned, that, our schools are just going obsolete.
Right.
And we have to figure out how to reinvent, right? And for us, like when we say what is reinvention, well, it means three big things. One is that we need to innovate. In some cases, we actually need to figure out how to basically build something completely new.
Right.
Because we have to lean into what is a new future, a new economy, a new workforce, right?
Right.
And the second is that, well, actually, some cases we don't really need something completely new. There are best practices across the world, right? And that means that we actually need to have the wisdom to say there are some cases where we should build something new, and there are some cases where we should actually just build on best practices, right? And third is that actually sometimes we don't need something new. We don't need to lean on best practices. We just need to look to what once worked in ancient wiser times.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
And that means we need to rediscover a little bit of what's been lost.
Right.
And so for us, we use the word reinvention a lot because actually we think it's more than innovation.
Right.
It actually sits at the nexus of these three. Can I look to the future and build something new? Can I lean into best practices? And can I rediscover what's been lost?
Right.
And to choose between those three and to know when to pick, it takes wisdom to be able to do that, right? And so one belief we have is that reinvention is needed. But the second big belief that we have is that, well, we really need to reinvent to make sure that schools work for low-income communities across India, right? Like that is the big problem of reinvention. You cannot separate issues of equity and reinvention today.
It has to go together.
Inequity is actually one of the biggest issues that we are facing. It is, our modern day freedom struggle. It is what we need to be staring at and saying, how do we figure out how to fight this?
Yeah.
And so we have to reinvent to be able to solve inequity, to be able to mitigate inequity, to be able to give kids from low income backgrounds a better future,
A lot
better
more
opportunity.
than, for sure.
And the third biggest belief that we lean into is that we need to ask ourselves, what's the future we're actually preparing kids for? And part of that is actually we need to be preparing kids for a 21st and a 22nd century economy. But part of that is that, well, we need to be preparing kids to be shapers of the future.
Adapt to what's coming.
More than just adapt, we have to prepare them to actually be in the driver's seat of actually shaping it, right?
Right.
And when you look at the long list of challenges that the world is facing today, right? Like pick an issue, right? Pick gender, pick climate, pick poverty, pick caste. We could probably go all day long and list a wide list of issues that the country and the world are up against.
Right.
Kids growing up didn't create those issues, but they are going to inherit them.
Correct.
And our best shot at really being able to solve them is to figure out how to put them in the driver's seat to be able to shape them. And so the purpose of school has to evolve from saying, yes, we're preparing kids to be better me's, but also we need to prepare them to build better we's. And so the circle is built off of some of these three foundational beliefs.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And a little bit about what we do. We do three big things. Yeah. One is we are building a network of schools and after-school programs that aspire to be proof points, right, of what a reinvented education.
For sure, yeah.
Right, and we do that through an incubation program. We actually find and select social entrepreneurs who want to build innovative, high-quality schools and high-quality after-school programs. We run them through a rigorous selection process, and then after that, we actually run them through a highly intensive 18-month program. And then once they graduate from that program, they become a part of our network. And these are entrepreneurs that are operating across the country.
Fantastic.
Right. And the second thing we do is we run a program called Labs, which is leaning into the belief that not everybody actually wants to start a new school. And with that, we try to work with educators who just want to reinvent within their own classrooms, within their own schools.
Fantastic.
And so we run a series of small programs to help build capacity, build a community, and fuel reinvention in classrooms and schools across the country.
Wow.